So, another thing that came up while I was kind of doing my research for this episode, after I got done reading the crazy amount of court documents you sent over, I hopped on YouTube and I just typed in your name. And, of course, I saw a couple interviews, but I saw a whole situation that went down in Thailand where you were on the news for this PPE situation that went down there a few years ago at like the peak of COVID. And it seems like this was huge news over there. Like you literally went on a local news network and did an interview about this situation. And there's not only that, there's a video of the Thai SWAT team raiding your apartment. And we were talking earlier about the shirt you had put on during that. We'll actually roll that video in a minute here.
Cool. So Thailand.
Yeah. So, before we talk about the whole raid, there was honestly so much crazy stuff. I saw your partner got kidnapped and everything. We'll talk about all that later. How did you get involved in the PPP industry in Thailand?
So what happened with PPE is, everybody started going crazy, and people called us, actually an attorney general from one of the states, I'm not going to say his name, but actually called, they were piloting our software, Drop-In, my software company, for, one of the things I noticed on parole is that and halfway house, is they're calling these people 10 times a day. And if you have a job, they're calling them and they're telling them, hey, 3 dudes lost their job at Costco in the halfway house because they're calling the manager saying, hey, do you see him? I need you to tell me that you see him 4 or 5 times a day. Managers can't do that at
they're
jobs.
Busy.
They cost them their jobs. So I thought, okay, this insurance tech that we got also would apply. Hey, if you can just call the person themselves, we rip the GPS and all the data from the phone, and you have a live stream, you can see them that they're there in that location, right? Then, you saved your CBA ROI, you get to see all your parole people every day.
And they keep their job.
And for less gas. And you're going to have a margin already. Like what we're going to charge you is nothing compared to the gas it takes to see 10% of your people over the course of the month. We're going to let you see everybody every day.
Yep.
Right? And they know this, the more contact the parole officer has with the parolee, the more contact they have, the more likely they are to not go back to prison. And also they get a better feeling of how that person's reintegrating into society, right? So you get to see everybody every day for cheaper than you see 10% a month now. Hey, that's a winner. So they were piloting our program in a few states.
Nice.
So he calls me, he says, hey, you were moving shit around the world when we were trying to stop you. I know this is a little out of the box, but can you help us now?
Interesting.
And they're like, we got some shit hung up. They're saying it's 5 weeks to get out of China. Well, I used to send blow to the Chinese in London, right? And the Chinese in London and the Chinese in China are the same thing, right? Like,
okay.
It just is what it is, right? Regardless of what they tell you, regardless of how they act, they have a different mentality about this shit, which is a whole other podcast. But so anyway, I call them and I say, hey, what's up with this stuff? And they're like, bro, it's not China's trying to ship it out as fast as they can. It's not that Chinese customs is blocking it. It's that there's a doorway from FedEx and from DHL and from all these companies. There's a doorway. It's huge that goes into customs, but it's a physics problem. You can only fit so much matter through that doorway.
Yep, there's a limit.
There's a limit.
Hard limit.
There's a hard limit. And that's what's creating the backup. It's not that China's customs is holding it up. That's bullshit.
They physically cannot bring more in.
Now, I don't care what CNN was telling you. I don't care what Fox News was telling you. I don't care what anybody was telling you. That is true. Yep. And I proved that is true by they took a couple $1,000s in a fucking red envelope down there, got somebody down there to that FedEx thing, and they moved the stuff from the back of the line at FedEx right up to the front of the door, and that saved 4 weeks.
That's crazy.
That's all it was moving the pallet right there. China wanted to sell as much shit as they could. They were not trying to fuck us over on that angle. So everybody who thinks they were, trust me, they weren't. They operate by selling us commerce, not by stopping us from buying shit.
Yeah, they want to spend that money.
And then the other thing we knew is that, okay, the boats and the ports are backed up, right? Well, nobody's shipping anything from China to Korea, so there's no backup there. Ship the shit, instead of from China to LA, ship it to Korea. Then and nobody was shipping anything from Korea to the States at that time. That happened later. But then you get on a fast boat from Korea. So even that you're going to have to get, the customs broker is going to have to take the container off a ship in Korea and then put it on another ship, you're going to make up a week with the fast boat from Korea to LA, right? Well, now instead of 5 weeks waiting to get out of customs and 6 weeks on the water and 3 weeks clearing in Long Beach, you've cut that down to 4 weeks total.
Yeah, you saved a ton of time.
Yeah, so you save it. So anyway, once we were doing that, very quickly we got into, our friend Min Jin actually sent us masks from Korea because we called him because he was the shipping guy. He'd done 10 years also with me and Tamer. Called him, he's a shipping guy. He's like, okay, yeah, let's do it like this, boom, 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 boom. So that's how we got that line going. And then he sent us these Air Queen nanofiber filter masks. They had a N95K number, which means they're substantially equivalent to an N95. Much better than an emergency use authorization KN95. This means it was substantially, it's not emergency use. It had it before, so FDA N95 substantial equivalent. And because it's nanofiber filter, you could breathe 3 times easier than you can in a 3M mask.
Okay.
And it actually it had better filtration.
Sounds like a damn good mask.
It's going to be the medical standard soon. Yeah, all of them are going to be, anybody who touched them. We ended up selling them to Cedars, CDC, the Indiana Pacers, Formula One. Lewis Hamilton was wearing them. We sold them to MBS in Saudi Arabia. Like, anybody who got their hands on this mask
sounds
never.
just like dealing drugs. You're flipping these masks to everybody.
Well, you have the best product at the best price, right?
you got that fire.
Yeah, so anyway, and the other thing we did is we didn't fucking all these idiots on the phone with these, I need 100 million of this, 100 million. Well, we've done shipping, dude. I know you ain't shipping 100 million.
Yeah, you're not
masks.
new to this.
You fucking idiot. You never done 100 million masks. You don't know anything about CBM. You don't know anything about what can fit in a 40-foot container. You don't even know the difference between a 40-foot and a 40-foot high cube. Oh no, I got a proof of life. I've got 100 million fucking boxes of gloves. Dude, you better have a fucking satellite because 100 million boxes of gloves are going to the moon and back twice.
Yeah,
like,
you can't hide that.
What the fuck do you mean you have a proof of life? Like, oh no, I got a warehouse. Oh, dude, do you know how many square feet of warehouse you need for 100? There is no such thing.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
And if you had a proof of life, it would be a fucking hour-long movie walking through that warehouse, not a fucking picture, dude.
A documentary.
Yeah. Like, fuck off. Oh, my favorite was, oh yeah, we just did 30 million masks. Oh, how did you do it? Oh, cargo. Oh, what kind of cargo? Air cargo. Oh, really? Air cargo.
How many planes were flying?
How many? Oh, yeah, we did it all on one plane. Oh, what kind of mask? Oh, 3M. Okay, first of all, there was no 30, 40 million 3M masks thing. Those got bought up, and production got bought up by hedge funds and fucking China and everybody else, while we were still didn't even think it was going to come here.
Yep.
Right? The smart people bought up all those fucking production. There was none of that. Second, you're not even going to fit 4 million of those fucking, I think he said 3012 or 3060. They come in a box of 20 like this. The box is this fucking big, right? You're not fitting 4 million masks in one plane when they're boxed like that. It's just not fucking happening. And I told the dude, I said, we got a 747. I'm like, dude, I don't care if you have a 747 fucking nose loader. You're not fucking fitting 4 million of those unless you took them out of the boxes in a fuck. But so people would just be on the phone fucking talking this nonsense. So we knew right away it was all bullshit. So what we did is we bought 1 million of these masks. We just opened a website. We paid 10 grand for airqueen.com.
Nice.
For whatever reason, Air Queen hadn't bought their Korean company. They hadn't bought their thing. It was up for auction when I looked. It was at 6,500. To buy it now was 10,000. And we just bit the bullet and bought it, airqueen.com. And we just started selling masks 10 at a time to the public.
That's a crazy hustle.
And 10 at a time, then 20 at a time. Then we made a 100-pack. Well, guess what? Once people started receiving these 2-3 days later after they order them, they tell their friends, oh, these guys aren't scammers. They're actually delivering. Well, then sooner or later, somebody has a business order. So you sell 10,000. We sold 5-6 million masks total. We made good money.
That's a good amount.
We never had a 20 million mask deal. In fact, anybody that ever asked for 20 million masks, it was fraud. Like just fucking all fraud. And we tell people, dude, you want 1 million masks? Cool. We have 2 million or 1.3 million or 700,000 in storage here at Van Nuys Airport. We had rented a hangar there. It served two purposes. One, it's secure, full coverage, but also LAPD helicopter has a hangar there. So you don't have to worry about people coming and getting robbed, right? So, you know.
Nice and safe.
Nice and safe, and people could come. There's a storefront, right? Like
Perfect location for this
perfect
kind of thing.
location. So you can come and you can buy the masks. But you want to buy 1 million masks? Why don't we do 25,000 first? Same thing as in dope. Dudes wanted to buy 1 million pills at
You
first.
got to do a small buy and make sure it's legit, and then you're good.
Why do you want all that headache? And because I knew it wasn't that we didn't have the masks or we couldn't receive the wire. It was that nobody's going to trust anybody with money for 1 million masks the first time. And unless you're talking to the dude with the cash, which you never are, right? Then that's just not going to happen. Why? It's fine. We can do 25,000. And people be like, they were so conditioned to these bullshit phone calls. When we tell them they could buy 100 on the website or buy, 10,000 or 20,000, just pull up cash and carry. They were shocked because every scammer was saying, oh, MOQ, minimum order quantity, 2 million, 5 million. It was all bullshit. So anyway, that's how we got into it. And we ended up getting bigger clients from B2C sales. And that's how we ended up with selling to the Indiana Pacers. That's how we ended up selling to Formula One. That's how we ended up selling to the CDC, Augusta Medical, Cedars, MBS, Saudi Arabia. It's how all of it came from just doing small shit instead of being on the phone talking big shit, right?
Yeah.
And then the gloves came, and we stayed away from the gloves because we knew it was all fraud. We had a friend of ours who was famous in China, was also famous here, who was going over there during COVID to Taiwan to film a show. And I said, dude, if you have a Glove Connect over there, because he's native to there, let me know because we can make some money. And he called me, and after he'd been there, after he got out of quarantine, called me, I got the guy. He knows this general in Thailand, Sri Trang, gloves, samples, this, that, everything we needed, due diligence. I did it. I failed, dude. They got me. I mean, I can say whatever you want. In the end, I'm the one who had all the paperwork. I did the checking. I pressed send on a $2.7 million wire. And, I'm the one, I got beat. Beat, 100%. Buck falls here. And, by the time the first container arrives, we're already suspicious because been stories, this, that, whatever. But
something just doesn't.
Our friend keeps reassuring us, and I know he's not a scammer, right? In fact, after all this happened, he contributed to the losses, like his share, and and really appreciate him for that. Showed his colors in that moment.
Yeah, it's a real thing to do.
But up until that point, when I was like, hey, this is bullshit. This is this after we'd sent the money, right? He's like, no, you're just being a crazy American, you're fucking hothead. And I'm like, no, dude, this shit doesn't make sense. They're saying fucking that there's fucking this, that. You can check local fucking news. The factory wasn't closed today. Like shit like that, right? Anyway, first container lands, and it's fake. It's medical waste from China. We didn't know that at the time, but you could tell it's washed and dyed blue. You could see on CNN, they did send an investigative piece.
So they were taking these already used
gloves,
medical waste gloves, and re-dyeing them the same color, look new, and just shipping them like they're new.
And in China, they were using mostly latex, right? So you have people here with latex allergies, right? They were using vinyl, nitrile, sometimes, right? But they so they were washing them and dyeing them blue, so they all looked nitrile. Putting them in boxes and shipping them from Thailand to the U.S. Now, that's interesting, right? So we get the first container, and we know it's bullshit. I open it up, it's bullshit right away. And now we filled out this importer security filing, which means we've made a statement to U.S. Customs on our customs bond that this is what's coming in. Now we know that that's not the case. So me and Tamer jump in the car. We go down to Long Beach to the customs office. And our case was a customs case, actually. They were the lead agency on our ecstasy shit.
Oh, God, that's got to be scary.
So anyway, we're about to go inside, and I'm like, bro, we better smoke a joint. It's a Friday afternoon. They're probably going to arrest us. This is medical devices. The Attorney General's talking War Powers Act on the profit shit. Like, this is not. They're gonna, once they realize who we are, they're gonna arrest us until they figure this out, right? Like, and not even kidding. I'm thinking there's a good chance we're gonna spend the weekend in jail. So we sit out there in the customs parking lot smoking a joint. We take this box in there and we go, hey. And they go, oh, over there on the wall, there's an email address. You can fucking, just write us an email about it. Me and Tamer look at each other, right? We're like, what? We're telling you, like, we got to pull our importer security filing.
Yeah.
They're like, well, just write in an email if there's any problem. I guess they were overwhelmed with shit.
Yeah.
So me and Tamer, I go, Tamer, give me your ID. Me and Tamer, he gives me his ID. I take my ID out. I go, dude, run this and bring me someone that matters. So they run our names. And now, like, that gets us somebody from upstairs comes down, right? And they're like, same shit. Look, there's an email back there. There's nothing we can really do. Just let us know this, that, the other thing. So we get back to the office. I send the email with there's 4 more containers that are already on the water, right? I give them all the shipping bills of lading, everything for all that, right? Email, writing out the whole thing, saying we want to, and they do nothing.
So
then we write them.
You really like took initiative here.
Yeah, well, dude, you have to. Once you sign that importer security filing, and they find out it's not that, and you knew, you're guilty of smuggling.
You're in deep shit.
Yeah, you're guilty of smuggling.
Yep.
And when you're talking about medical devices where War Powers Act and scarcity fucking requirements have been laid on, I don't know if you remember, but the AG got up there and said these things are, sensitive to national security, war powers, this, that, that. I mean, dude.
Yeah, it was a huge deal.
That's how you end up in jail for 3 years without a hearing.
Yes.
I mean, is that type of shit, right? So anyway, we didn't want to go through that. So so we write the email and no reply. They don't even send us a confirmation that we've written an email, right? So now I write an open one to them, customs, and just post on their socials. And then I get Keegan Spalding, our corporate attorneys who were, we were looking to lobby Congress to use our tech for 911. So the idea was poor man's fiber optics. Once you call 911, the operator can send a text and boom, that camera's open and whatever, there's a police presence in the room and for whoever the assailant is to know they're being recorded. And at the same time, that feed can be piped to the first responders so they know what they're dealing with when they get there. Which I thought no more accidental shootings, no more guns out if it's not necessary, and maybe even more importantly, guns out when it is necessary.
Yep.
Right? Like, I thought this would be a good thing all the way around. So we had them, and they were like, look, you got to do this with parole and child protective services first. It's a fragmented system, and your company ain't making enough money to get a federal override for 911 yet through us. That's bottom line. But they took us on. David Farber, fucking great guy. J.C. Boggs, great guy. These two were amazing. Me and King and Spalding fell out later over some shit. But those two, after I was arrested in Thailand, they removed me as a client. But those two stuck with me and are still friends of mine, I like to think, to this day. So anyway, they write letters to the FBI, nothing. They write letters to FDA, Criminal Investigation Division, nothing. A couple FBI agents say they're interested. At the same time, I'm talking to these cocksuckers in fucking Thailand now. Fuck you, there's nothing you can do, fucking American, da-da-da. And then now, the 3 more containers that we sent them the bills of lading land, and you know what Customs did with them after all those emails?
What'd they do?
Delivered them to us.
Really?
Yeah, delivered them. Didn't even open them. Delivered them.
Do you think they even read your emails?
Probably not. Probably not. So anyway, we gave them bills of lading, showed them, we left them samples, medical waste. Anyway, me and Tamer know the system. So we're in Van Nuys Airport. So we rent another hangar, another $5,000 a month. We rent another hangar because we realized, wow, everything's been on camera since it's been delivered here. The chain of custody is not broken.
Yep.
As long as it stays on camera, it's had full surveillance in a secure facility, right? So we put all the gloves in there. The first container, the next containers, everything. We got them all stacked in there, right? And people are coming. They see the boxes. Even dudes in the airport, these gloves are worth tons of money if they're real. People are offering to buy. We could have sold them.
Yep.
They wouldn't have even looked.
Yep.
And
she didn't want to do that.
Didn't want to do that.
Yeah?
It's funny because that came up later, right? And we get into that. I don't want to lose the chronology now. We've been scattered all over the place. I'm a scatterbrain sometimes. Apologize to your audience. I go everywhere.
I'm the same way sometimes.
So anyway, they get delivered. They're bunko too. We put them in the thing, and Thailand now starts with this quarantine program where you can go there. So this dude's on the phone telling me, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me. I'm like, okay, but I also got doctors and nurses calling, talking about crying. This is the first product we haven't delivered. We've delivered every other PPE product. Nobody else was able to do that. We didn't take orders if we couldn't deliver. We delivered tubes, we delivered masks, we delivered anything that anybody came to us for. Where we took the contract, we delivered on time up to this point. Right? And so these people are like crying and this and that, and they really need this stuff. And, whatever side of COVID you're on, the fact of the matter is if your grandmother is going to the hospital for cancer, the doctor needs these gloves. And whatever side of COVID you're on, this is the United States of fucking America. Our medical professionals should have the best shit available. They shouldn't have medical fucking waste to work with.
Yep.
Right? No matter COVID or not. Period. So anyway, they start the quarantine program. I send 2 groups of guys. Me, ex-drug traffickers and mercenaries, and then other guys who are just there to actually find gloves and do business, right? They're not related to each other. And so I get over there, I get the thing, get through the quarantine and everything. And, we make a case at ECD, Economic Crimes Division, got a file that these dudes robbed us and this and that and the whole thing. And then they make a case against me, a criminal case, where they say that I kidnapped, extorted, and attempted to kill this Chinese dude who was behind this whole thing.
And one of the things I found when I was looking is a literal video of this guy getting pulled out of a cafe in broad daylight.
Yeah, so they said that was me.
That's crazy.
That's not me.
You in the video?
Yeah.
Can we pull this up?
Yeah.
Okay,
Go right ahead.
Let's see. Where was it? There's the raid right there, which we have open in a separate tab. Do you remember what I should type in? I'm gonna do. I remember it just came up when I typed in your name, but
yeah, the real interesting thing about that, right?
What was your partner's name?
Jeremy Manchester, former MARSOC Marine, great guy. So that's Pete on the left. This is the raid. Yeah, so they say they did all that to say that it was me.
That's crazy.
I'm not in that video. You can look at it a million times. The dude in the black hat.
I looked at it a lot of times.
But in the press, they said I kidnapped. Yeah, that I was in the video.
There's news articles out there that literally say you kidnapped somebody.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Using that video. That wasn't me. Now, whatever happened, that isn't what happened. Right? Anyway, so they make this case on me, and they tell me, they get me in jail. They arrest me and a bunch of Thai guys. And they say the cops. Oh, before that weekend, Thursday, I think it was a Thursday, my friend King, who I know from way back, it used to be King Currency Exchange in Europe. I know him from way back. He wasn't just my guy. He was everybody's guy. If you had cash and you needed a check, he was your guy. He was like the check cashers now. But back then, before the euro dollar, was currency exchanges.
He was just
so he could do
man.
wires. Not my guy. Everybody's guy, right? But we did a high volume of business with him. Let's say that, we might have been his favorite.
Yep.
Or close to it. Because,
you were up there on the total.
And we always gave him a little extra. And, like, even if he needed a couple days to figure something out, we never pressured him. Like, it was a fucking great relationship. Anyway, the euro dollar comes, kills his business. And he's been in Thailand for the last 20 years. He comes and he says, listen, they got an arrest warrant for you. Attempted murder, kidnap, extortion. And they've got your passport blocked. But I can get you out. And I'm like kind of getting up to get out, or pack my shit and leave, right?
Yeah, because you're getting targeted here.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Tamer, as my inertia's starting, but I'm not physically moving it. King says, or you can get arrested. We'll get you out, and we'll get this thing turned around. Tamer jumps up. I think he's going to kill King. How can you fucking say that? This place is so corrupt. What the fuck? And King pulls out pictures of his grandkids. And he says, you guys didn't rat on me 25 years ago. I have you the same way you had me.
That's crazy.
So anyway, King leaves. Little hurt feelings, but whatever. Everything's smoothed over. We're all big boys. We've known each other a long time. And King's like, I got you. Don't worry. Whatever you decide. Me and Tamer get drunk the next couple nights. Now, the feds had taught me how to build a case, and I'm in Thailand. I built the case. I paid somebody dirty at the phone company. I had all the pen registers of all the people involved. I had all the GPS coordinates of all the people involved. I paid, fucking all kinds of fucking corrupt people in different things. I found out whose numbers were who. I paid another dude at the phone company at a higher level to find out, hey, one of the generals is Somchat Lumsiri. Another one of these guys is Captain Kampi. SkyMed, the biggest PPE glove scam in history, is this dude, right? All involved with this dude, Patty the Room, and Look Fei Yang Yang is Patty the Room, and Vincent Wen, Chinese, Taiwanese fucking thing, and Emily HSU, right? Who's behind it all. She works for the fucking Chen family. The Chen mafia family in China.
Okay,
right?
This runs deep.
Yeah. So anyway, but she's not as close, and they're not as close as they thought, because I was able to call my Chinese friends, and they told me these people are fucking scumbags. These are the ones who run fake EpiPens to kids in Africa. They do human trafficking. All that dough, all that shit that they're bringing those gloves over there, this was the scam. It's on the same route as drugs, EpiPens, human trafficking. The reason why they're bringing it from China to Thailand is twofold. They gave me the whole rundown. Once it gets to Thailand, if it's in the Bangkok Freeport, it gets repackaged there. Now it's a product of Thailand, no tariffs. Second thing, because it's coming from Thailand by Thai law, you'd say, why would they send these medical waste gloves anyway? But by Thai law, as long as they send these medical waste gloves, it's only a quality issue in their courts.
Interesting. So it's more of a civil matter.
Yeah, that's it. That was the scam, right? So
wow. So
anyway, they make this, but I've got them over a barrel because King was helping. I had a very good case on him, and I had we had it going pretty well. So they made this move. They made a fake case. I was not in the video. I did not kidnap anybody on that particular day.
Yep.
Allegedly, something might have happened a week before, but that's not what the case was about.
Well, I just also don't really get the vibe that you yourself would go into a public establishment in broad daylight and kidnap somebody.
No.
I get the vibe that if that were to happen, you're the kind of guy where you'd probably get someone else to do that,
Yeah, and maybe somebody else did something and changed the plan on their own and did something stupid.
Yep.
But whatever it was, how they said it, they staged a whole thing because the Thais are dumb fucks too, and they're all corrupt. And they think if they could just get me into a jail cell, that they could get money from me, right?
They'll
So
try to buy
anyway,
your way out or something like
so
that.
anyway, I built this whole case. So I'm like, there's Thai generals involved. There's Thai fucking government involved. The fucking deputy prime minister is in up to his fucking neck, right? Jirapop, who they put as the head of fucking organized crime over there, CCB. He had just arrested this same dude in December, a couple months before, and let him out, and just charged him with labor violations. Everybody's in on it, and they made the Thais actually made America fun of all of the Western countries by putting this dude, after CNN came out later, in charge of the investigation, who was behind it 100%, and his brother, Jirapop's brother, is part of the King's Guard.
That's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
It sounds like there's some real top-down kind of corruption.
Oh,
issues
fucking
going on.
100%. So anyway, me and Tamer were talking about it for a couple of days after the meeting with King, and we're like, okay, I'm going to get arrested. The embassy's going to come. I'm going to give him the case that Thailand is sending every month more than their annual production capacity to the United States of this medical waste.
Yeah.
Like, that shit's got to stop.
Yeah,
right?
It's obvious that
Yeah.
something's not right here.
Well, whatever. It's got to stop. It's way bigger than fucking this bullshit. I didn't kidnap anybody anyway. I'm not in, I know I don't know about the video yet. I don't know about the press yet because I haven't been arrested yet.
Yep.
That was all set up, right? But I'm not worried about anything that I've done since I've been in Thailand, right?
Yep.
Anyway, so we think, okay, the embassy's going to come. I'll give them the case, and I'll end up going home on the plane without a tail number, right? No problem. Cool. And for me and Tamer, it was like, this was our first opportunity where the scale, we realized by investigating this that our 2.7 million was nothing. They were sending millions and millions and millions of boxes of this medical waste to America every month, right? Like we were a small fry.
Very small piece.
So
of
for the
pie.
first time, it was like, since we got arrested for drugs, who's to say what the balance is? But here's something at a large scale where maybe we could clean up a little bit of the red ink on our ledger.
Yep.
Right? Like maybe we could do something a little bit good.
Yeah.
Right? And get in the way of this and get this controlled. So anyway, they come. I get a lawyer in Thailand. They're supposed to. I'm supposed to self-surrender Monday morning.
Okay.
So I don't tell my wife because I figure I'm not going to tell my wife
can't.
until after I get bail. Right? Once it's done.
All right.
But anyway, they fucking show up Saturday morning with this fucking TAC team, right? And
the Saturday morning.
that's the video,
in
yeah.
This video.
Yeah. So they show up with this TAC team, and if you look, they're trying so hard to be like SWAT, but they're all fucking holding phones in their hands.
Yeah.
They have no technique whatsoever.
There's two normal uniformed cops close to the door, and then some chick just on her cell phone.
What do you mean,
recording.
all of them? When you watch it later, see how many of them have like phones. They're all
They're sending this to their family at home. Look, guys, I did my first raid today.
Not only that, if I wanted to, I could have jumped out the balcony. Right? Like,
What story were you on?
this is like the fucking 20th story, but I could have jumped out the balcony to the neighbor's place and walked down the stairs and walked right out the fucking back of the building. Like the Thais are fucking dumbasses when it comes to this shit, but they want to be so badass like America, like so they dress up like this. But Jay's a former military dude, and he's like, these dudes didn't even realize, like, he's like, bro, I can tell their fucking clips are empty. Like half of them didn't even have loaded guns. They're like just the assault rifles were just there for show,
I
right?
mean, you can tell. I watched this video before we started rolling and everything. I watched it last night, actually. And just the way they enter and the stuff they say, yeah, it sounds like if me and my friends put on, like, cop uniforms and, like, we're playing. Like, all right, let's go pretend raid.
The other thing is nobody notices this, but right now while this is all going on, I'm changing my T-shirt into my Pinky and the Brain shirt of why do I feel like I'm surrounded by idiots.
So they get your door open right here.
Yeah, so we just go down right away. We already know the game.
Look at where these guys are pointing their guns.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the guy who just went in two before him just pointed the gun straight at the officer in front of his
Yeah, that's what they have no... So this was all paid for. They paid Jirapop to do this. There was no reason to come with a tack team for me.
Well, yeah,
what I
they have,
didn't
like,
know
the
is they'd had
news
all the
here.
press set up.
Yeah.
They had everything set up, right? So they, they get us in there. There's the fake. There's fucking more fake gloves that we found since we've been there, right? Because they're selling them everywhere.
Yep.
And so anyway, they put us down. Pete's fucking got his ID in his hand, and no problem. And but nobody noticed the shirt. And then I started telling them, I was like, dude, you guys are here for the wrong motherfucker. This ain't gonna go the way you think. There's actually audio for it on some of these, so you.
There is audio.
Yeah. So in the bedroom, I'm telling them, right? Anyway, they get us down to jail Saturday. Obviously, I couldn't call my wife from there, but the cops are like,
there you are, right there.
Yeah, the cops are like, oh yeah, you fuck little boy, embassy come right away. Embassy no come for you. You must be very bad. The embassy still hasn't come to see me.
So you're probably stressed at this point. You're like, fuck.
No, well, King got us out Monday morning on bail, like
true.
he said. Just like he said.
I just find this entire thing so crazy that they're literally raiding your apartment with a media team.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, this whole thing is so nuts.
Yeah, that's what they did. So they had all the stories set up. All the stories broke. And then, like, AP, Daily Mail, LA, all these people had written me for comment. Right? And I write them back immediately. I got comment. I have a picture of the dude who says we beat the shit out of him, almost killed him. I got a picture of him at another restaurant at the same time he said this happens, drinking whiskey with a clean face. Right?
Yeah, so
they
something's
don't,
not adding up.
And you know what they do? Like Grant Peck from the AP, right? He writes me back. He goes, oh, they already wrote the fucking piece. All these people, Meow, this fucking cunt for Meow, I forgot her name. Like, all of them wrote these fucking hit pieces not knowing shit, right? And even the AP's like, oh, yeah, you did tell us that you did answer back right away, but, that's not normal for us. But, I just didn't check because that's unusual. They admitted, and still they wrote without my comment.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, yeah, we'll
sent it anyways.
We'll take your comment now. And A Current Affair did a piece and never ran it because they thought it was too hot. But CNN, of all people, CNN said, okay. And they said, well, they took too much interest. They turned it into an investigative piece. So it wasn't going to help me anytime soon.
Yeah.
But they took a lot of information. We gave them a ton of information. They put, some of their top people on it. And then they did an interview in Thailand with me in the Waldorf. It didn't come out until I was back, right? But what was interesting about CNN, and Tamer had come back to the States now, right? Because if I'm going to get locked up, no reason to risk him. It'll be easier if he's out, and I know he's out. And he gets another one of our co-defendants from back in the day. Joe Yavitz comes up, and he tells Tamer, hey, dude, I got this political campaign dude. I can introduce you to him and see if he can get anybody involved from this side. So Homeland Security Investigations is interested because counterproliferation of the Chinese involvement, right? So they're all like, well, we want to see the gloves. CNN wants to see the gloves. They want to see nobody believes we've really got the gloves. So DHS in LA comes to the hangar to check the gloves, and we had every one of them. There's not one that's unaccounted for. And CNN happens to be there on the same day with their professional doing the part of the video for their interview with me, right? That they put in there. So DHS saw that. They see it's coming out. So now they take an interest in the DHS dude who was a cool guy in Thailand. I actually like him quite a bit. We get in touch with each other, and he apologizes to me. He says, bro, we were working pretty hard against you with these ties at first. And I was like, why would you be working against a U.S. citizen? Like, well, we didn't know the whole story. I was like, bro, the embassy still hasn't come to see me. And
Yeah,
he's
you're
like,
sitting
yeah,
there
there's
what the
a,
hell?
and he did say, he's like, there's a problem with the FBI here. He wouldn't elaborate. And I found out later what it was, is that more than 300 referrals from the U.S. FBI offices of Thailand fraud and PPE had been referred to the Bangkok embassy, FBI there. How many cases do you think they opened out of more than 300?
Not very many. I can't
0.
Wow. Literally none.
Literally none.
That's crazy.
Well, somebody's fucking
So they're
dirty,
just taking
dude.
these reports and just lighting them on fire?
Somebody's dirty,
Yeah,
right?
clearly.
Okay, so keep that bee in your bonnet for a second, right? So anyway, I tell him, I'm like, listen, dude, my lawyers in the States warned you. Me and Tamer came down to your office and warned you. We did everything a normal citizen does. Now I'm here, my life's in jeopardy, and you need my help. And I built this case, and I know everybody involved. Everybody. The generals, the captains, the Thai people, the fucking people that are working with them, the Chinese, and, you know, they know I did, right? I said, so what I want now is I want my fine wiped out if you want my assistance. Because now you're coming to me and you need my assistance. You're not responding to me as a U.S. citizen who called the police to report a fraud. You are now coming to me for assistance because I have a Thai case. I don't want your help with my Thai case. I got it. I got this.
Yep.
What I want is you to wipe out my fine. They say, okay, you know, cool. We'll get there when we get there. Great. We got a case. We got an AUSA back in the States. We're going to prosecute this shit. They come, they pick up the gloves to put them in storage. The Fed's got an AUSA. They got case agents. They've got budget because they're putting the gloves in an offsite storage. Chain of custody is good. They have everything mapped out for them. Remember, I told you more than 300 cases referred to the Bangkok FBI office and zero open?
Zero open.
Well, I'm going to tell you another thing. The feds just stopped.
Really?
After all that, when they started investigating and they found out that everybody else from all the shipping documents had sold the gloves or said they destroyed them, right?
Yep.
They found out that these gloves had entered the medical system in several places. The only one, literally the only ones who didn't sell the gloves on or say they destroyed them and had to count for every one of them was the 2 convicts.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so CNN mentions that I actually have the recording because I recorded the whole interview with them. And after the interview, I said to the dude, hey, man, I really appreciate, you know, you throwing, he said, because he said, are you telling me that the only thing stopping these gloves from entering the medical system was the integrity of 2 convicts? And I said, yeah, we never even considered it. Sure, we wanted to make money like everybody else, but not that way,
Yeah.
right? Never considered it. Never considered it. Because it could be my mom or your mom or anybody else's mom in there. You know, like, they could get sick. They could have a latex allergy. We weren't going to do that.
Yeah.
And after the interview, it was like 3 hours. I was like, bro, thanks a lot. That'll help as far as cleaning up my image after all this, because now it's all ex-drug trafficker, fucking turned tech mogul, arrested for attempted murder, kidnap, and extortion in Thailand. Lost all my customers for my tech company. Drop-in crashed. You know, it was just a disaster. But I thought, okay, this will, you know, clean it up a little bit. And I told him, thanks for asking that. And he's like, yeah, he said, I really wanted to get some stuff like that in there because now that I know that everything, Louis, and I mean everything you told us and gave us has been exactly true without any extras, without any embellishment. And the amount of detail that you did here is just incredible. Well, by the time it came out, they clipped all that. They said that I was right, but they distanced themselves from me as much as they could. And then when they busted the compy dude from SkyMed, who they busted over there, they gave credit to this other dude who they found from me as another customer, right? That I found by looking through all the shipping records, right? CNN found that person from me. And so they give credit to him. They didn't even mention me in their second article, right? Like,
CNN did you dirty.
yeah, and they didn't tag my name in the metadata for their original story when it finally came out. Now I'm back in the States, so the only thing I'm looking forward to this coming out is like it'll clean up my name a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm not
you're excited. You're like, thank God, some good PR. You know?
Yeah, like literally, that's what I was thinking, and they totally fucked it. And you know, listen, the day after I left Thailand, because the judge, after 84 days, they had to investigate because it was attempted murder, kidnapping, extortion. The judge fucking point blank said, "There's no evidence. I'm letting this dude leave.
Yep.
You got nothing. He wasn't in the restaurant."
Uh-huh.
CNN didn't even back that.
That's crazy.
Right?
That's
Like-
literally an objective fact that
Yeah.
was left out of the news.
Yeah.
Like court
They
ruling.
said, well, you know, it's not clear. There's no pending charges
It's not a
at this
matter of
time.
opinion that
Yeah.
literally a judge said,
Gave
"I'm
me
letting this
back
guy
our
go."
passport, our bail, and,
Yes.
and you know, I got all the former military guys out of there, and you know, like, so that was that, right? Like, but they didn't even do that. Now the day after we left, right? Because the day I got arrested, the dude Luk Fei Yang, the Chinese dude, who'd been arrested 2 months before by this Jiropop guy, walked right out of fucking Bangkok airport under his own passport. I have the exit photos from the you know, because you can buy anything there from the customs dude. I have the exit photo of that, right, from when he's leaving. That happened the same day I got arrested, right? They fucking corruption all the way across the board, man. And you know, it is what it is.
That's fucking.
But now after that, by the time I finally left, 90 days later, the dude who made the fake case on me has an Interpol warrant out for him. Emily HSU has an Interpol warrant out for him. This dude, Luk Fei Yang, Interpol warrant out for him, right? But it doesn't matter. China's never going to extradite him.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just paper at that point.
Yeah, it's just bullshit. And, you know, and then Somchat Lumsiri, Thai general, they killed him the day after I left.
Wow.
Well, because Luk Fei Yang was no longer in Thailand. So if he ever got busted, they figured he'd rat. So they couldn't have it coming back to him. There was no thing from the king talking about thank you for his service like they normally do when a general dies, right? And they got this dude Compy, the biggest fucking glove scam in the whole PPE. They booked him, like, and you know, everybody distanced themselves from me. They were quick to dirty me up, but nobody wanted to admit that, you know, because it's embarrassing, bro. Think about it. From the federal government side, a bunch of ex-drug traffickers and mercenaries stopped this when the federal government couldn't.
Yeah, that's terrible PR for them. They don't
Yeah,
want
fuck
that
it.
getting out.
They don't want that, but
Yeah.
that's what happened.
That's the worst optics imaginable.
Yeah, that's what fucking happened, and we were the ones that stopped it. You know, I mean, so that was Thailand. I mean, we can have a whole episode on the intricate details of all the shit we did.
Dude, yeah, I think there's a lot more that we're definitely going to have to talk more about in the future at some point.
We can have a Thailand
Thailand stuff.
episode. You guys are right down the street from the house, so don't mind.
Nice. I remember you telling me you're pretty close to here.
Yeah. Plus,
pretty
I go to
nice.
Gold's every morning.
Nice. Yeah, that's literally right up the block.